Model Making Guru is sponsored by emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. emodels.co.uk. Make something awesome. Right, so let me walk you through what I did. So, both figures were given, first of all, a base coat of Mechanicus Standard Grey for the grey parts, and a base coat of I can't read it because the light's shining on it, War Boss Green for the green parts, and they were given a little bit of a blast of Death World Forest. That's the cheesiest name ever. Death World Forest for the sort of brown areas. They were then given an overall wash of the Agrax Earthshade. Then what I did was I went back in to the grey parts first of all. I've learned that you're supposed to go from the inside out, and then I completely ignored that. I mixed in some Administratum Grey with the Mechanicus Standard Grey. I really can't read these because the light's shining on it. Mixed in some of the lighter Administratum Grey with the Mechanicus, and then very thin, quite a bit of water in it, I started working that over the raised parts of the folds in the cloth. And it would be hardly visible at first, but I didn't want to just paint straight away. I wanted to build it up as a sort of fade from the dark to the light. I didn't really do brilliantly, but it worked just about. So I did like a few passes just to build that up, and then when that had dried, I just went over with some very thin Administratum Grey just on where I wanted the real highlights to be, and that was the sleeves done. With the green areas, once the Agrax Earthshade had gone over the green, it darkened it, so I went over again with a dry brush of War Boss Green, then a dry brush of Skarsnik Green. Then, when that had dried, I went over with some very thin War Boss Green just to bulk out the colour a bit on, say, the helmets and the flat areas, so it toned it down again from this light dry brush. Then I went in with just neat Skarsnik Green, ever so slightly thinned, with my very fine Artificer brush, just to pick out the edges. And that was quite fun but hard, going around the very edges to get the highlights. And then similar to the grey areas on some of the sleeves and stuff, I used sort of mixes of these and very thin just to bring out some little highlight areas. The brown was just left as brown, and that darkened with the Agrax Earthshade. For the backpack was painted with lead belcher. I mean these little metal bits. Where are we? There's another bit somewhere. The controls for the pilot were painted with Runefang steel. No, they weren't. They were painted actually with Ironbreaker. And then when they were given a black wash of the Nuln Oil, just on those parts, and then they were gone over with the Runefang steel, which I've just put down somewhere. Where did I put it? Runefang steel. Don't know why I'm showing you the bottles. Just to bring out the edges again. The eyes were both painted white, so the little dot and the ring, they were painted white with ceramite white. Then the bottom bulb was, and in fact they were both painted then with Spirit Stone Red, which is like a kind of slightly clear, shiny colour. And then I went round the edge with the Runefang steel again on the top one. On this chap, the logo on the pauldron, well, on this guy it was just painted, because these were painted green originally. This was just painted over with the ceramite white, and then given another blast of Agrax Earthshade, and then one very thin wash of paint coat of ceramite white, just to make it nice and light again. And on this chap, it was painted in, because it was green, so it was painted in Gorthor brown. Then it was gone over in Balthazar gold. Then I gave it a wash of the Agrax Earthshade, and then I went over it again with the Auric Armour Gold. Sorry, Auric. I can't read these. They're so shiny. Auric Armour Gold. Staying out of the little trenches where the Agrax Earthshade had gathered, and then when that had all dried, I went over the very edges with some Runefang steel again, just to give it a little bling on the edges.